Coach Mangini is here. Coach, are you expecting a Lions bounce-back game against what a lot of people think is the best team in the NFL?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure.
Huh.
As much huffing and puffing as they did after the last game and all that bravado, Tampa can match their bravado.
Wow.
So there's that component to it. And then the second component is from a passing perspective, Tampa Bay brings a ton of pressure. So they're at almost 32% pressure, which is fourth in the NFL. And Goff's had a problem with that, historically has. And take a look at what's happened this season. So no pressure versus pressure, it's 53% versus 84%. Passer rating is significantly different. And they're gonna bring the heat because that's how they play defense. And so then you look at the running game, and Detroit's been very good running the ball. They're eighth, but the problem is Tampa Bay's fifth at defending the run. So in all these different categories, Tampa Bay matches up pretty well. And the fact that Baker's only thrown the one pick this season, to me, that's another really good sign for Tampa Bay.
Wow. I'm not, listen, no spoilers, but I might have an idea of who Coach's upset alert this week might be. A little 5.5, 8.5 pointer for the Tampa Bay Bucks. Listen, I also think that they've been focused on the wrong thing. I'm not doing the tiny hands thing, KW.
You almost did.
I thought
you were
flesh
too.
colored
They left
shark.
it in the drawer.
I thought you were holding.
It's right here. I have it with me at all times. But I wasn't going to do a tiny hands bit. It didn't fit. Coach made a salient point about Jared Goff struggling with pressure. I just want to have a tiny hand on deck. The point I'm going to make is Jared Goff, like Dan Campbell yesterday was still talking about, I've never seen a team so mad that the Lions' stance seems to be, yes, what we did was illegal, but we should have gotten away with it, and we're pissed we didn't. And so that, to me, is weird. Like, 'cause the whole controversy is, did the refs get help from New York or not in order to properly adjudicate the play? No one is arguing the play was legal and they got screwed on it. It's really that that part's weird to me.
I don't mean to interrupt, but before the game, oftentimes if you have a trick play, you'll show it to the officials in the locker room. Say, we're going to run this play, and we want to make you aware of it, especially if it's pushing something.
Right.
And typically, the officials will say, great, looks good, no problem. And when you get that sign off, that's where, and that's happened in games that I've been part of the past, where the official signs off on it pregame, running the game, then they decide they don't like it, and it can be really
So that they haven't said that's what happened. What was said is Tony Dungy was at their practice that week, saw them running it the way they ran it there, and told without the pause, and told the people at NBC, he was like, I thought they changed the rules since I was coaching because I saw them running it illegally. But so I think that is a little discomfiting to a degree. I also think teams, after they play the Chiefs, don't typically do that well. And that, I think, is noteworthy. If we can show you those numbers.
No, we're not going to show you those numbers. Just stop. Not everything is about the Kansas City Chiefs. We're just stop. It's so dumb. It just, oh my God. First off, I understand why the Detroit Lions are upset. Because they're upset because they think that essentially the NFL stepped in a way that they normally do not. It's not that the play was illegal or not illegal. It's about the way how the NFL stepped in, specifically in a way that they typically do not do. That's why people are upset, and I understand it. Because the refs were like, okay, this is great, this is legal, there's no problems here, and they're moving on, and then the NFL is like, no. And they're just like, what? This doesn't happen. This is not how this happened. So I understand why people are going to be upset about it. But quite frankly, I moved on and I don't care. The game's over, right? And so there was other reasons why they lost. That's on the Detroit Lions, not about officials, not about any of the aftermath. To focus on the Bucks now, okay? This is a massive, massive, massive game for the Detroit Lions. The whole pressure of Goff is not. First off, every quarterback is less than when under pressure. Like that's how it works. I've gone through all those stats before. I'm not going to do it right now. And Goff has always, when you have a great offensive coordinator, a great coach, you're going to be better with pressure than not, because a big part of dealing with pressure is having your coach put you in the position to succeed, giving you, like I always say, giving you the solutions to the problems that you have. So it's not all just individually on the quarterback, especially a quarterback who's not necessarily, known to be the most mobile quarterback out there. And so that is on the offensive play caller to figure out ways through that. So to keep trying to highlight that with Jared Goff is unfair, and look at what he's been able to do under pressure with Ben Johnson, incredibly successful. But this game is so important for the Detroit Lions, because if they lose this game, then they would have essentially lost to every team that has been playing well. And they would have only now beaten teams that are just not the best. And that then does start to set into the locker room a bit. And any of the conversations that people were having going into this season start to feel more of a reality, when it felt like they shut those people up as the season started to unfold. And you just looked at Green Bay as just kind of that was week one, whatever, those games happen. And then you get to Kansas City, and like I've said, that score is 2 plays change a little bit, and it's a massive swing. Those plays were there, but they were clearly not resilient enough, at least offensively. And we can explain had defense banged up, etc., etc. But we know the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are banged up, and they played close games against the severely banged up 49ers, the completely banged, just bad team New York Jets. And, even that game was close, but for a fluky reason, a blocked field goal that was then returned for a touchdown. Not the most common thing that happens in the NFL, but still a lot of games that are really coming down to the wire. And we saw offensively what the Philadelphia Eagles were able to do against the Bucs. And if they could have some continuity, they should have ran the Buccaneers out of Tampa. That first half, they were dominant. Jalen Hurts was dominant, and in typical Eagles fashion this season, it's a tale of two halves. But the Lions are not supposed to have those problems. The Lions are supposed to be able to just beat up. And if they can't, that's a problem. And offensively, again, I understand that there's limitations defensively right now with injuries and whatnot. But if Baker's offense can score more points than the Jared Goff and the Monsters and Amon-Ra St. Brown, etc., on offense, then that is a fundamental problem. That is a true problem. The Detroit Lions then have to be like, whoa, then we are not who we think we are right now. We are not who we think we are. And you shouldn't need to rely on all these fourth downs and these trick plays. The Philadelphia Eagles didn't. And again, the Philadelphia Eagles offense is obviously disconnected right now. That no one can argue against that. The Seattle Seahawks didn't need it. They were able to just play straight up and get after it. And Sam Darnold was cooking. Jackson Smith and Jigba cooking. Like they were able to get after it. And there should be no reason that this Detroit Lions offense can't get after it. Can't get after it. And if it does become similar to a Seattle Seahawks game, the Seattle Seahawks versus Bucs game, where it's just this back and forth, no defense can stop anyone, the Detroit Lions offense has been together long enough and has been great enough and has been playing at a high enough level long enough where they should not be the ones that blink. They should not be the ones that break. And yeah, Baker Mayfield has not thrown a lot of interceptions, but his turnover-worthy plays are through the roof. They're through the roof, like top in the NFL. So it's just been luck that he doesn't have the Geno Smith level of an interception. That's what turnover-worthy plays are. It's and people always want to downplay it, and it's a dumb thing. It's not downplayed in coaching. Coaches don't let you get away with making mistakes and saying, well, no one intercepted it, no big deal. That's not how it works. That's why that stat exists. So the opportunities are there, but it's up to the defenses to take advantage of it. And whether or not this defense can, you already messed yourself up by getting suspended on an already injured, depleted defense. That's on you. But if not, if your defense can't hang, your offense absolutely, positively, undeniably should be able to. And if you can't, then you have serious, serious problems. So this is an absolute crucial game to regain the momentum, to reset the tone, to say we are a great team. We are a top team in the NFL. Yeah, we're banged up defensively. Just wait until we get healthy. And offensively, man, Amon-Ra St. Brown catches that ball 99 out of 100 times. That's a huge swing. That's a 14-point swing right then and there. Yeah, that touchdown, we dominated in that first drive. And again, we got disrupted. We were frustrated. We let that get to the best of us a little bit, but whatever. We're angry now. We're angry. We're upset. It is revenge. It's like how we felt we were robbed against the Dallas Cowboys a couple years ago. That following year when we played the Dallas Cowboys, we unleashed the wrath of a million monsters, man. We were Godzilla, King Kong, Thor, Thanos. We were everyone combined together. And they did. That game, that was their intention. Their intention was, we are going to absolutely annihilate everyone. We are going to absolutely annihilate this Dallas Cowboys team. And so see if they can harness that. See if they can harness that. Because then that is the messaging that you get fed in the locker room. Dan Campbell being like, they don't want us to win. They don't want us to win. They don't want us to be a top team in the NFL. They don't want us to dethrone the Chiefs. They don't want us to beat the right now. Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're the belle of the ball right now. They don't want us there. We want to be right. It's a rallying cry. But then you also need the brains to go along with it. So this is a massive, massive, massive game. I see it's Monday, 7 Eastern. Does that mean that there's another doubleheader game? That is so obnoxious if that's the case. Yeah, there is a doubleheader game, but it's hours later, so it's not like they're both really going to be playing at the same time, so it's just going to be a long night. But yeah, this is huge. Undeniably huge. You lose this game, you start to really, I don't want to say unravel, but you start to feel uncomfortable. And you start to lose the sense that you are the Detroit Lions that you have been these last couple of years. So a game like this goes a long way. Goes a long, long, long way. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Detroit Lions taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? And are you concerned that teams that lose to the Chiefs or just play the Chiefs don't fare well in their next game? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. Please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.